Welcome to day 62. This is my journey through meditation and what's being revealed and what's coming up. I'm fully in acceptance of. Everything is allowed to be for me, whether it be a feeling that feels uncomfortable or whether it be something that feels happy, sad, anything in between, any thoughts, beliefs. It's like I'm a space in which all these things come up for, and nothing is not allowed. So in that space, it's really freeing to know that everything is accepted about myself, which in turn creates a feeling of very little, if any, self-blame. And when that does come up, I am made aware of it, the judgments that I've got about myself. And yeah, that's what's come up, really. That's what's coming up now for me. But as I started this video, I wanted to talk about Google. Now, Google is something that we rely on every day, and I rely on it every day to sort of ask questions, find out things, maps, images, anything. It's like a big reference book, big dictionary. And back in the day, we used to have, my dad bought a reference library that was similar. What was called Encyclopedia Britannica, which were volumes and volumes of different books in alphabetical order. And I really used to enjoy finding out information about different things, and by grabbing a volume and thinking of a word and just going through it and finding out a bit more about it. But today we're so reliant on Google to find out things. And the question I got for you today is, why do we need to find out how to do things? Why do we trust in an outside source instead of Googling from the inside out? And just an example about relying on our own intuition, relying on our own judgment, relying on our own answers. Because when we go inwards, when I've gone inwards, it kind of feels right for me. So what if we did have an inner Google that we could all use that was absolutely foolproof? And again, this is sometimes what happens with me, where I'll be talking and then my mind will just go blank. And when I was growing up at school, I had this belief that if I didn't know the answer to something, I was stupid, I was not knowledgeable, and in front of the people who had the answers to things, I sometimes didn't feel good enough or smart enough or intelligent enough. But I know that's not the case, because we are all have our own forms of intelligence. We all are intelligent in our own ways. And intelligence doesn't have to mean how much you know in your mind, how much information you remember. Intelligence could be how emotionally intelligent you are, how how can you communicate, just like that, how you can communicate clearly, how clearly can you communicate to others, how you can connect with other people, how easily can you recognize what feelings you are feeling, how easily you can recognize what somebody else's feelings are. And it's not just about remembering information, it's about people. And when I used to teach, I always used to feel that it was of more value teaching the children, and I enjoyed it more when I was helping them to learn about relationships, but helping them to value the relationship they had, but also to walk away from situations perhaps that felt not so good for them, but also managing behaviour like that they had, like anger, or allowing them to cry. And I can't remember what it's called now. I think it's PSHC, so it's personal health, social citizenship, and education, something like that. So personal, social, PS, health, citizenship, education. So it was all those areas that I really loved teaching. It was all about the interaction between each other, and I found it really hard. Well, I didn't find it hard, I found it very unemotional to teach them that they had a list of dates or something they had to remember. It didn't feel the same. And I know that the children were most engaged when they were doing something that they enjoyed and they found benefited them. And I can always remember being a space for different children, and they always used to come and want to share their difficulties in terms of relationships with their friends, relationships with their mum and dad. And in a way, I think maybe there was a lot of counselling that I did with the children, and it was very freeing because those children, although managing a class of 30 was challenging, they were all individual little personalities who were learning about who they were, and also learning how to express their feelings, learning that they didn't have to not cry, learning that it was okay to cry. Especially for the boys, there was this culture of not crying. So this video is a little bit of a jumble about everything, but basically we've all got our own inner Google, and feeling what's right for us might not be right for somebody else. So instead of looking from the outside for your answers on the internet, Googling from the inside out. Day 62. Bye bye.